Okay, let's talk about your Paper 1 assignment. Now, it's very important that you study the actual Paper 1 assignment sheet that's posted on Canvas, because this presentation is only going to discuss the major points. You will be responsible for everything that's on that Paper 1 assignment sheet, so make sure you study that carefully. First of all, you're going to write 2 papers for this class, and both of them have to be informative. You will not be writing any argumentative or persuasive papers that take a stand on an issue. There are a couple of reasons why the papers for this course must be informative. The first and most important one is that this class is largely designed to prepare you to write for other college courses. And most college courses that require research papers require informative research papers, not persuasive papers. Another reason is that one of the problems that we face in this country is that people make decisions without investigating all points of view. However, you will be much more successful in life, and you will be a better informed citizen if you learn to objectively examine all viewpoints before making a decision. Let's talk about some of the specific points for Paper 1. First of all, for your first paper, you're going to write a 5 to 7 page informative paper. The paper must be at least 5 pages long, plus the works cited page. The works cited page is the bibliography in MLA. The paper will completely, fairly, and objectively present at least 2 sides of one of the controversial topics that's listed on the posted assignment sheet. You may choose from the topics that are listed there, and I believe there are 2 or 3 pages of topics, and you should address your paper to the indicated academic audience that's listed with that topic. When you pick a topic, you will see a hyperlink that will take you to an Issues and Controversies article that's associated with the topic. You might want to skim several of those articles to choose a topic, and I definitely advise you against writing on a topic that you already hold firm beliefs about. It's much more difficult to write objectively about a topic if we approach it with our minds already made up. Let's talk about the sources that you must use in your paper. First of all, as I said, you're going to begin by studying the article that you will find linked to on the list of topics on the assignment sheet. And that's an article from the library database called Issues and Controversies. That article will provide you with the main points that are held by both supporters and critics of the issue, as well as with background information. That article, along with the sidebar articles associated with it, may be used, but you have to include at least 4 sources other than that article and its sidebar articles. At least 2 of the other sources that you use must discuss points that support the supporter's viewpoint. And at least 2 of the other sources that you use must discuss points that support the critic's viewpoint. Let's discuss the specifics about the types of sources that you may use. At least 1 source that you use must be a print book. Not everything useful in the world is found on the internet. You may use documentary videos. In fact, they can be very good sources. But be careful that the information that you cite in your paper is provided by expert sources. Other than that, you will use the CSN library database to locate articles. All sources other than those that we have discussed must be sources that you find through the CSN library database, or documentary videos along with .gov and StatsAbs, as we will discuss in just a few moments. You may not use .com, .edu, .net, or .org sources that are not located through the CSN database without checking with me in advance. If you believe that you found a reputable website that's published by a respected source, email me the URL of the specific web page and I will let you know if you can use it in your paper. The problem with web pages is that while some of them are very good and do present expert sources information, many of them are very simplistic, or they are written by people who are not considered experts in the field. And when you're writing academic papers, you are expected to cite experts in your papers. Under absolutely no circumstances should you ever cite Wikipedia in an academic paper. It's perfectly fine to use it to explain some situations to you as background, but you don't want to cite Wikipedia in an academic paper. Professors laugh their heads off at people who use Wikipedia as a source in an academic paper, and you don't want professors to laugh at you. Now, you may use .gov sources, such as the pages that are posted by the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, the Department of Homeland Security. Those are the official pages that are posted by the government. So if you are talking about a government policy or a government procedure, obviously the .gov sources would be the primary and most important and most authoritative source that you can check. You also can use the Statistical Abstract of the United States. And the link to that page is on the Paper 1 assignment sheet. The Statistical Abstract of the United States is published by the U.S. Census Bureau, and it presents strictly statistical, uninterpreted, and unexplained information related to life in the United States. For example, if you want to know the median income broken down by state, or by level of education, or by gender, or by race or ethnicity, StatsAbs is a great place to go to get that information. Similarly, if you want to know how many students are currently in college in the United States, or what the average tuition is broken down by state, StatsAbs is a good place to get that information. All it provides is statistics. It doesn't explain any of the statistics, but it is a good, reliable source to use. Okay, now let's talk about the rhetorical situation for your paper, beginning, of course, with audience. The audience for your paper will be upper-level undergraduate students, graduate students, and professors in the discipline that's appropriate for the paper you're writing. And on the assignment sheet, you will see that each topic has listed with it an academic discipline that would be interested in that topic. Sometimes there's more than one. For example, one of the topics that you can write about is genetically modified crops that are used as food. And depending on how you approach it, that might be appropriate for either nursing or a healthcare field, or it would be appropriate for agricultural study. It depends on how you approach it as to which audience you will choose. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that your audience are experts in the discipline that you will be addressing, but not necessarily in your topic. They definitely will be very familiar with terms that are commonly used within the discipline. But if there's the specific terminology that's used regarding the topic that you're discussing, you might need to provide definitions for those. Keep in mind that academic audiences expect very well-researched and very formal, unbiased papers with formal, unbiased, objective language. That means you cannot use first-person pronouns such as I, me, we, us, or our, and so forth. Second-person pronouns such as you, your, yours, etc. Informal language or slang except in direct quotes. And as we will discuss when we talk about using summary, paraphrase, and quote, direct quotes in academic papers should be very, very rare. You only use a direct quote when how something is said affects its meaning, and that's not very often. Generally speaking, there should only be one or two direct quotes in your paper. Okay, now let's talk about purpose. The purpose of your paper is to provide your readers with a well-researched, unbiased, objective, balanced report of at least two sides of a controversial issue. And you want to discuss two or three of the major reasons that both supporters and critics of a topic state to support their viewpoint. The purpose is not to support one viewpoint over another. As a matter of fact, readers, myself included, should not be able to tell which side you endorse or even if you endorse one side or the other. You will find that the language and organization used in the Issues and Controversies article that you're going to look at as the starting point for your paper really offer a good example of the type of language and writing that you're going to be striving to achieve. When you read the article from Issues and Controversies, you will not be able to tell if the writer supports either of the views that are discussed in it. Finally, make sure that you study the Paper 1 checklist that's posted on Canvas. Study it now before you begin working on the paper. Study it periodically while you're working on the paper, and definitely study it before you turn in the paper. The Paper 1 checklist provides specific information on how the evaluation standards for this class will be used in grading Paper 1. Therefore, the closer that a paper matches the specifics on the Paper 1 checklist, the higher grade it will earn. And failure to meet those specifics could have an adverse or even a devastating result on your grade, depending on which specific it is that you don't adhere to. And then, last without least, of course, if you have any questions about the assignment or anything at all in the course, don't hesitate 1 minute to email me from an account other than Canvas. I bet you're getting tired of hearing that already, and you're going to hear it all semester. Email me at deborah.oki@csn.edu. Thanks for viewing this presentation. I hope that it helped to clarify what you're going to be doing for your first paper. Make sure that you study the Paper 1 assignment sheet and the Paper 1 checklist for more specific information about the paper. The purpose of this presentation, as I said, is just to cover some of the major points. Do email me if you have any questions, and have a really good rest of the day.